Hello and welcome back to the Villa View. It's Derby week, so we wanted to try and do something a little bit special for our subscribers. So Matt Lynch has actually never told us how connected he is, and that he'd actually interviewed former Premier League and FIFA referee Mark Halsey before. So what we've done is we've got Mark on the phone to discuss Jonathan Kodjia's red card against Fulham, and also Mark has refereed the second City derby before, so he was actually the referee that sent off Dion Dublin for headbutting Robbie Savage. So we want to get a sense of what it's like to actually referee this fierce and hateful derby. So stay tuned, here it is. So thanks very much for joining us tonight, Mark. It's a real pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure to be with you.
So Jonathan Kodjia's had his suspension reduced, which to me doesn't really make much sense, because surely it's a 3-game ban for violent conduct, or it's completely gets rescinded. Can you explain what's actually happened here?
Yeah, I think what the club have gone for is reduced because the punishment didn't fit the crime. And if you look at that, I totally agree. I mean, initially I felt that it was Fredericks was the gator, and I felt it was Fredericks that should have been sent off. You know, if you're sending Jonathan off, then you've got to send Fredericks off as well. So obviously, to be fair to David Coote, he's not seen the whole incident, and I think had he seen it and issued 2 yellow cards for petulance to the 2 players, then I don't think there'd be any complaints. I agree they reduced to 1 game because it's not violent conduct. But then, if they don't think it's violent conduct, for me, then he should have won his appeal and obviously be allowed to play in the derby. But, you know, obviously, we don't know what comes out of the FA Commission these days, because sometimes people win the appeal, and you look at the 2 Newcastle players that got off against Nottingham Forest, and you think, oh, how they got off of that? Because the referee was correct in law. And that was the same, it's the same similar offence, really, for, I think, who was Shelby was sent off for the same sort of thing, really, wasn't he? A little kick out, but a little bit more than what Jonathan was sent off for. So, you see players sent off in the Premier League for reckless and challenges that endangers the player's safety with excessive force. You think, well, that's not a send off. Yet, for a club to win or a player to win the appeal, it's got to be proved that the referee made a serious and obvious error. And I think in this case, the referee did make a serious obvious error, because he should have sent off Fredericks, because he was the more aggressor than what Jonathan was. But at least he's only serving now and not 3 games.
Because as a Villa fan, I feel quite hard done by, because obviously we've gone on to lose the game. We've had 10 men for the majority of the game, and Ryan Fredericks, who, as you say, is the instigator, retrospectively, absolutely nothing's happened to him. He can carry on for the rest of the season, and Fulham have got 3 points. Do you think there's a bit of a lack of flexibility with the rules after the matter's happened?
Yeah, but see, the thing is there's nothing the FA can do, is because the match officials saw that incident.
Yeah.
And whether it be the referee or the 4th official. And to me, I mean, Fredericks was wasn't he? He was very, very clever in running straight over to the assistant referee, saying, have you seen that? Have you seen that? And you've seen that? Knowing full well that it was him, really, that lashed out at Jonathan. And Jonathan goes to have a little kick, and it's petulance. And as I said before, I think, in that incident, you don't send one off without the other, or you caution both players. And I think the right thing to do there was caution both players. Use a little bit of common sense. Referees can still use common sense today in the present game.
In general, I've been far from impressed with the standard of refereeing in the Championship. Do you think there's a problem with the level of officiating in the Football League? Because to me, that they're actually way off Premier League standard.
I think it's all levels. I think it's from the Premier League right the way down into, I live around the corner from Bury, and my nephew plays at Bury Football Club, and I go and watch a few referees down there, and yes, there's a lot of inconsistencies in their performance, and I don't necessarily blame the referees, all the way down. I think we've got some good referees out there. I think we've just got some poor coaches and assessors. For me, you've got a referee at the top level. To become, to help fellow referees and to improve their performance, improve their game. We've got guys that are coaching and assessing at this level, Premier League level, league, Championship, League 1, League 2, that have never even refereed, never been involved in the game of football. Yet they're trying to tell these top guys how to improve their performance, and the guys are not having it. And I think it's the quality of coaching that's available to them, and for me, it's not there. It's definitely not there.
Do you think it's a case in the Championship that referees are trying to make a bit of a name for themselves? Because to me, some of the games have been completely ruined by petty decisions over and over again. Do you think it's a case of them trying to get noticed by the Premier League?
No, it's not. I think you put it down again. I think you put it down to, if you look at any sport in the world, you look at rugby league, rugby union, tennis, cricket, good coaches turn average athletes into good athletes and good athletes into world-class athletes and players. And that's no different to refereeing. It's no different. And there is a severe lack of quality, and I mean quality coaches at the top level that actually refereed at the top level that are involved in our game today. They're not there. It's not there. And we have to ask our questions why. Why has Mark Clattenburg gone to Saudi? Why? Because he's not happy with what he's receiving from management at the PGL, the way he's coached. So we're losing all our top guys to places abroad. We need them here. We need them here to make our referees better. Give them the confidence to go out there and referee a football match. And some of the guys are too scared of what the assessor thinks or what he's going to say. And that's not what it's about. Just go out there and let the guys referee.
Do you think the referees are approachable enough? Because when you were a referee in the Premier League, you always seemed quite affable, quite approachable, whereas I get the impression in the Championship that they're not as approachable.
No, I mean, obviously it's the regime they're under. They're under a protocol, and it's very difficult. If they don't adhere to this protocol, they'll end up, in the office of the management and most probably facing suspension. Just like we see, poor Keith Stroud, who's a very good referee. He's made an error. He's made an error in law, and you won't see him now for the rest of the season because he's been suspended for got a 4-week suspension, which that will carry out over the season. Players make mistakes, but do they get suspended for 4 weeks? We see. We've seen players sort of, make contact with referees. Yet Keith Stroud received a far greater suspension than some of these players that have made contact with referees, with pushing them or manhandling them, and so it doesn't make sense to me. And I think the referees are a little bit frightened. It's not made mistakes. I remember making 1 or 2 mistakes at Villa Park and getting, castigated by the manager and the players. But, we're human beings. We all make mistakes, but the best referees make the least mistakes and they park them and they move on.
Obviously, it's the second City derby weekend this weekend, and I can think of one mistake that you made now. You were obviously the referee that sent Dion Dublin off for headbutting Robbie Savage. Do you look back now and just wish you'd let Dion get on with it?
Well, obviously, I couldn't let that go, but I remember having a laugh with Dion. That was a cracking derby. It was very intimidating. The fans, the players. I remember, Steve Bruce was actually in charge of Birmingham on that game. I think it was Graham Taylor. Was it Graham Taylor then? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I always remember saying to Dion, "Hey, he apologised." I said, "Don't apologise." I said, "It's about time someone done that to him." I said, "I'm just apologising to you because I've got to give you a regard."
How tough was it to referee in that environment? Because obviously there's just pure hatred coming from the fans and the players that night as well. What's it like refereeing in that environment?
You've got to be switched on right from the start. You can't drop your concentration levels. You cannot drop your focus, because if you do, then you'll miss something, and then that's it. The game will go from bad to worse. And it's important that you pick up those little small decisions earlier on, which lead to you getting the big decisions right. And also in those games, you have to referee them a little bit differently. People say, "Oh, why do you have to referee differently?" Because there are going to be certain situations where you cannot manage, and you have to stamp your authority on the game. And if the challenge is so bad in first, second, third, fourth minute, then you do have to show, as I say, a caution, or sometimes it may be a red card. But hopefully, the players dictate how a referees a football match. If they want to play football and get on with it, then a referee is quite happy to stay out of it. If it starts getting niggly and silly little challenges, then the referee has to deal with it. And also, as a referee, you've got to be aware of what's going on around you. You've got to know your players. You're looking at the likes of, Craig Gardner, most probably played for both teams, didn't he? But he's got to be aware of of certain situations and what certain players are like, and there'll be little physical contacts going on around the pitch, and the referee's got to nip them in the bud.
Did you used to have to watch like Robbie Savage, for example, really carefully, because he always seemed to be involved in everything heated in the derby games?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you don't prejudge players, but you just make them aware that, hey, listen, I know what you're about, and I'll be watching you, and you manage them all the game. You're trying to keep the peace between everybody. And it's about, as I say, being aware of what's going on when players have a little dig at each other, just being aware and listening to that, and just keeping gaze vision on players. When the ball's gone away, just keep an eye on the challenge, then move away. Because you get, as a referee, you do get that time just to have a look at the challenge going in, the ball goes away, and then you can move away. So, in these games, it keeps you on toes. You don't really hear the crowds. You don't, because you're fully focused on what's going on. So the crowd may be chanting so many things at you, and you just get on with it. I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised at the appointment of the referee. I thought it might have been a select group or a Premier League referee, but having said that, we obviously at the same time, you want to see the likes of Simon Hooper get the experience of these big games, hopefully to moving on up into the Premier League. But I think Simon's got a lot to do yet to get that status. But this may go a long way to helping him.
What would be like the one piece of advice you'd give Simon Hooper going into refereeing the Second City derby?
It's about managing the game and the players. But if you get that chance to stamp your authority on the game, then you've got to do it. He mustn't become inconsistent. He's got to recognise those challenges and act on them. People say that referees walk onto the pitch and they command respect straight away. You don't get respect that way. You get respect from players by recognising and penalising foul challenges and picking those things up. And that's how you get the respect of the players, when they see you picking these things up and you play on an advantage. You go back and you talk to a player and you just say, hey, listen, I've got that. I'll sort that out. Don't worry, I've seen that. I'll sort that out. And that's how you get the players on your side. Oh, yeah, we've got a good referee today. And it's vital that, that Simon talks to the players. And he did, to be fair, I think I've seen Simon a few times. He does talk to the players. And that's what you must engage. You can't come across as though you're arrogant. You can't be arrogant. You've got to speak to the players at their level.
So you'll have refereed many derby games over your years in the game. Where does the Second City derby rank in terms of occasion? It's arguably the biggest derby game in terms of passion.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? It's massive. You look at the London derby, you look at the North East derbies, and I've refereed Man United, Liverpool many times, and that is a massive game, and the intense the rivalry that goes on there. But I think with Birmingham and Aston Villa, I think it's up there with at the top as derby goes. It's going to be really passionate on the weekend. You've got, obviously, Zola's gone. You've got Harry Redknapp coming in now. So the players will want to impress with Harry Redknapp. So Birmingham will be up for it. Villa will be up for it. Players will want to impress and keep you playing for new contracts for next season. So I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, as it always is, with both sets of fans. And, I really do hope both sets of fans behave themselves, because we don't want to see, any fighting or anybody getting injured through fans, because it's going to be a family, lots of families there. So, they've got to be sensible. But at the same time, the players have got to set the tone on the field of play. They've got to set the example on the pitch as well. The same in the technical areas, which I think you'll find. You think Harry and Steve are, good friends, so I don't think there'll be any problems there. But the players have got to set that example on the field to all the youngsters that are there watching with the families.
Other than the actual derby games, is there any particular Villa game that you refereed that stands out in your memory?
Well, I remember doing the Villa Arsenal game many years ago when I allowed Henry to take that quick free kick, and
I remember that.
I ruled Arsenal for a penalty in the second half for a body check. I've refereed many games there, and I've always enjoyed it. Always had a good laugh with the Villa fans, especially when I've been forfeited. There's been a certain fan that's got his own seat behind that dugout there. Always abused me, and I used to upset him with a few little facial expressions. But I think the one that springs to mind, I think a few years ago, when I refereed the game against Southampton, when Jay Rodriguez went down easy. From my angle and everybody's angle, it looks a nailed-on penalty. Even on Match Today said, from this angle, it looks a nailed-on penalty. When you see it from another angle, there was no contact, and I think he was anticipating the contact. And of course, Paul Lambert, I remember him after none of the players complained at all. We came out for the second half and all the players had seen it. And then I remember Paul Lambert knocking on my door, wanting to speak to me, go through it. And I just, he had a right go at me in the dressing room. I said, listen, Paul, from my angle, it looks a penalty. And of course, when I got home and watched it on Match of the Day, I think, oh no, I've got that one wrong. But if only if we had technology, then it would have been reversed. But I remember Rodriguez a few weeks later. I refereed him down at Swansea for Southampton, and he was in the tunnel, and I just went up to him and went, hey, you let me down big time at Villa. You went down. That was never a penalty. I said, don't you be doing that today because you'll get nothing out of me today and I will deal with you. He said, Mark, I'm sorry. I didn't. I was anticipating a contact and I didn't mean to do that and go down. He said, I promise you I won't do it today. And he went down early in the penalty box and got straight back up and said, Mark, I slipped. I didn't go down, honestly. And I said, listen, no problem. And he had a little smile and got on with it. But, you just have a little word with players. I let him know I wasn't happy when I saw it and that he'd let me down big time. But he was good as gold the next game I refereed him.
Just finally, obviously, you battle cancer and you won that battle, and it really can't. It's really inspiring what you did coming back and refereeing at the top level. Really, really commendable. And obviously, you supported our own Stilian Petrov when he was battling leukemia. What did you make of his return to football in the summer when he managed to play for the first team in pre-season?
We had a chat about it because I went and visited him in hospital, and it was because obviously it's a football family, and that includes footballers, referees, fans, and all sorts of. And I remember when he said to me on the phone that I'm going to make a comeback, and I thought, are you sure? Because I knew what it took for me to get back, and how physical it was, and what it took out of me. And he was, and I said to him, listen, if you feel you can do it, go for it. You've got to go for it because nothing ventured, nothing gained. Because I was told I would, if I survived, I would never ever referee at the highest level again. And that was my incentive to go and prove people wrong. And Stilian wanted to do the same. And obviously it was just a little bit too much for him. But as I was saying, he's an inspiration. And I remember playing his golf day last year. It was great there at the Belfry, and we still keep in touch with texts and messages, and and I think he'll make a great coach or a manager one day.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Mark. It's been a real pleasure to have you on. It's been great to hear your views. Really interesting, and we can't thank you enough.
Oh, you're welcome, and good luck at the weekend.
Personally, I found that really interesting to hear things from a referee's perspective. Was actually quite fascinating. I cannot thank Mark enough for coming on. It was a real pleasure to speak to him, someone who's done it all at the top level of refereeing, so we really thank him for his insight. If you enjoyed that video, then please politely press the like button below. Comment below on your thoughts on Mark and on the derby. How much are you looking forward to Sunday's big game? Please, if you're not already subscribed to the Villa View, could you subscribe now with your post notifications on? That'd be brilliant and mean a lot to all of us. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night?
Yeah, no.
Where's that come from?
No. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.